So I was telling her to warm up, stretch out. Whenever you're ready, we'll go over some stuff. I won't do a formal warm up. And do you find yourself getting stuck in people's close guard or half guard or close guard? Close guard and side control. Cool. Cool. We can work on a few just positions. Like it's hard because this little position right here, that this is my stretch. People think I'm usually like avoiding all the other stuff. This is my stretch for me, for my hips and my knees. Because when I get into someone's closed guard, this is the position I try to be as in a V. I'm either, my feet are never crossed because I don't have that dexterity or flexibility or range of motion, but I have like a 4-base pyramid, and it's almost as if my hands are on my thighs, and this is my posture where I'm like, so then I'll put my hands on the inside of the hip or on their gi pants or on their floating ribs. And I'll use this as my posture that I'm trying to think of. When I'm on the bottom, when I'm a closed guard, I'm trying to break their posture. So I'm trying to get their head down. I'm trying to get their knees closer together. Or when they start to move, they stagger their knees. This allows me to compromise their base. But if I kind of know both the offense and the defense of this position, I can find myself avoiding triangles and effectively passing. So you need to warm up or anything? Like, we're just gonna I like to warm up by just moving. So get me in your closed guard. He's not a guard player. He's usually on top. It's gonna be good because you're working from bottom. But with his closed guard, I already feel that what he's trying to do is stay connected with his knees. He's keeping his ankles crossed. So you see how my head's already leaning forward a little bit? Mm-hmm. He's using a limb or an appendage. He's gonna grab my neck or something to pull me forward. So I need to really think of bringing my knees outside, especially because I'm not real flexible. And I'll put my hands either on his hip, but this allows me to bend my elbow. So I got to kind of cock my elbow in. So if I can get on this little hip bone right here, you'll be able to fit on yourself. You'll be able to fit on other people right there. So it's really unnatural unless you do jujitsu. I'm never going to usually touch another man right there. Right? You know what I'm saying? But here's my frame. So if he does try to bring his knees to his face, I have one frame here. So bring your knees to your face. I use my other hand to post. What usually happens is I'm fighting from here. And cupping my head and it's like, so I think of a reverse ladder. Try to go inside to his biceps. If I go to his armpits, I'm trying to slink down. He's got a real good strong grip on my head. I'll try to get in his armpit or his bicep, and I'm doing palm up, or I'm doing a C-clamp in his armpit, whatever feels natural. I'm framing, but I'm not pushing. I'm framing under his elbow, and I'm trying to shuck to immediately go to this position. So if he's not giving me any resistance, I'm thinking outside, elbow pits, biceps, C-clamp into the armpits, on the chest. I don't really have surface tension. On the floating ribs, hips. If I get here, if I can get the gi pants, cool. My problem is my elbows tend to bow out. If he does get me, he'll get my elbow to bow. He can do a Kimura or whatnot. But if I get here and he can't sit up, unless he's got ridiculously long arms, he usually can't grab my head, usually, right? So he's gonna go 2-on-1 grip on my hand. He's gonna break my posture, bring it across to his ear, bring it to your left ear. So see now he's compromised my posture. All my weight's over here. And what am I gonna do to adjust? As soon as I bring my knee in, he's gonna bring his right knee over his left knee. He's gonna extend his left leg back, and he's gonna sweep me, rolling to his left. So he's able to do that. We'll reverse rolls. I'll get you in my guard. We'll reverse rolls. And he's going to be able to get his hips close to my butt, really, and widen his knees. His heels will be over his butt, right? So if he's got good frame, he's going to put one hand on one of my hip bones and one on my floating ribs. This floating rib one, so you get right on my rib, you want to be a little right where the stomach starts. And you can use this frame, bring your elbows in like, so I can't dig these elbows out, and I can't grab his neck. Just because the tag on your shirt, they got a bandage. So if I get here, see how his head's bent down? I want you to just put your chin up like you wouldn't do in a fight, right? I just want you to posture up. So watch, his whole spine is going to fortify. I can't reach him, but if he tucks his chin down, his spine kind of naturally curves. Mm-hmm. I kind of have a little bit more strike. Now posture your chin up. But that little difference gives you more. So as I start to go with this to do what I just said he was going to do, right? He's got a pummel. So as he does this, he's going to posture his head up, use his right hand to like clamp my wrist down to me. Now I can't. And then he's just going to change grips. This goes back to my hip, and this is going to go right here. Now I'm stuck. All I'm going to do is just hand fight and switch. Boom. But the moment he starts feeling me open my ankles, relax here a bit. So for me to play this game, I got to open my feet. When he feels this, it's very subtle. I want you to think of whatever you think the lowest knee is to the mat, with the palm of your inside of your hand on the inside of my knee. So if I'm fighting and I go here, he feels me open. I'm trying to knee pinch. He feels that, immediately put your palm into the inside of my knee. Pin it to the mat.
See, that's where I'm tripping up.
And that's fine. This is why we go over this. I want you guys to think about what knee is closer. If you screw it up, just get a knee pinned to the mat. So now all I want you to do is just lift your weight up. Don't even think about which knee. Just lift your weight up onto my knee. Your ass is going to lift up. Now your inside trail knee is going to go in first. Right. Tanner's been teaching the outside knee, and that's fine. That's another position, but he's pinning the leg. He's not passing. Right. Because if you don't do this, then I'm going to try to get your leg. But if he starts leading with this knee to go to that knee cut, now I can't get his leg. But if he leads with the outside knee and tries knee cut, and he just tries to slink over there, I'm going to trap his leg.
Yeah.
This feels way easier, but it gets you in trouble.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you why it works. Let me switch places with you.
Passed into the like quarter guard-ish and then gone into mount if you like time it right, because then I don't know if it's good form or anything.
Yes.
But I'll go forward and almost like cross face them.
Yeah.
You just hook your one foot and pull the other one out, and then you land it mount. For some people that I don't know if that's the thing.
I'll show you what she's talking about. Okay, do you guys know the difference between mount, 3/4 mount, and quarter mount? You kind of do, because you mentioned it.
I think they do, but
it was explained to me once, and this black belt told me it, and I was like, I thought it was the opposite. But so, full guard, my legs are crossed, my feet are crossed behind you. Half guard, our feet are woven, so I'm usually in that position. The other person's knees are straddling one of my legs. Half guard.
okay.
Make sense? Like we're just kind of somehow in a weird scissor, 50-50 position. Quarter guard means he's got my ankle and he's pinching with his knees. So I'm 3/4 of the way out. Right? So this would be his quarter guard, but what was explained to me is going to be my 3/4 mount. No, that's not even right. So anyways, quarter guard, right? But if I switch my knee to this side, he's knee pinched. Now I'm not completely mounted because my foot's trapped. It's a 3/4 mount. That's his 3/4 guard.
Okay.
So if you think of it that way, it's all contingent on this leg. One of the legs, one of the feet. So if my knee's between his knees, half guard.
Oh.
His feet can be hooking my foot, and his foot can be there, or he can put his knee in front of me. He's got a knee shield, still half guard. Okay. It's any configuration of this is going to be a half guard. But if he's able to regard to get this leg out, and he gets me in this position, he's back into full guard. The reason why this is given take a break. The reason why this is given so much points in rule sets. They do points in tournaments because those are the dominant jiu-jitsu positions. So if we were in a real fight, if I'm between his legs, you don't really think that I'm at an advantage because I can kind of strike. But he's really at a 51% advantage because he can posture up. So as I strike and he postures his knees away from me, I shouldn't be able to take his chin. He can bring me into strike or elbow. So that's why in a tournament, if we spend 5 minutes in that position and you're on the bottom, you'll get the ref's decision. Even though it's a neutral position, it's a 51-49 position for jiu-jitsu, sport jiu-jitsu. Now in a real fight, there's a lot of other things that we can do. Okay, we're just, so submission only, this and that. The reason why they give points for passing is because in order to be an effective jiu-jitsu practitioner, we need to control our opponent. If I'm in your closed guard, you're actually controlling me. If my hips pass your hips, I've passed your guard, but I don't control you, I don't get any passing points until I control you for 3 seconds. And usually a ref will go 1, 2, and they count that as a second. The reason why is because if you pass and then control, you've passed the guard, established side control or mount. So In a real fight, it doesn't matter. If you pass, mount, and punch, you're done, right? You get 0 points for punching, 0 points for submissions, but you win. So anyways, knowing that rule set is kind of why we think of, whenever I'm in the guard, I'm in your guard, I need to break the guard, meaning separate the feet, to pass the guard. That's all I'm really thinking. Now, there's millions of things I can do. For him, or for the bottom practitioner, you should be thinking sweep and submit. Sometimes what we do in guard bottom is like, I can rest now. Some people do that. People might stall with you in side control. So if you're in side control, you might default to, like, as someone's passing, you just go, oh, I'm just going to reset from side control and fight from there. No, the actual fight comes before there. So I showed him what Tanner's been teaching us. I'm going to go back to the half guard. So Tanner's been teaching to get to here and to straddle. So he's not encouraging us to drive and lead the pass with this knee. What he's saying is you're stalling. He doesn't call it stalling. You're going from one safe position to another safe position. Okay, so Tanner's way better than me in the sense that I can sit here and teach you guys this and he'll tell me I'm kind of fucked up in some things. But he's fine-tuning my game. Yeah. But I'll be able to effectively do this with some of you. So when I get here, you've done the opposite of what I recommended, is leading with that outside leg. But I'm not allowing him to re-guard and do this. And I'm also trying to keep my elbow and my forearm in between this little thigh crack or crevice, to keep my elbow in front of his knee. Because if he brings his knee back in, now he's got his frames in front of me.
Okay, that's what's getting me.
And
Because I'm getting as far as that, or even leading with my knee, and then I'm just blocked.
Because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll do this hand fight, and we're not worried about these knees. And these are still tools. If these feet and knees get in between you and the hands, that's what we're all worried about.
If I get my toe on your hip, you're not getting to me. Like, that's what pissed a lot of people off here with me, is like, they call it slippery, and I don't know anything, but like, I can just do this.
Yeah, so he's digging his toe.
It's just enough to just dunk.
Yeah. So what we do now is this will work for you, but I'm not saying. Yeah. I'm just saying this is for me, I've kept guys very far away from me like this, like, and it has upset them, and I don't know anything, but this is a very advantageous. I'm very comfortable here. The only reason why I recommend, and this is fine, this is working for you. We're going to work on that with you. We're going to work on whatever you guys naturally do, right? But I suggest the heel, because now you can rotate your knee out and you can start working different ways.
Yeah.
But in time, if this works for you, this is fine.
Yeah. No, I wasn't saying put my toe in there. I'm just saying this.
Heel snap.
The same point that he uses here. Yeah. I've been using to keep people off of me.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then they're 280 pounds sometimes, and I'm just kind of doing this, and I re-guard, and then they get me again, and then I go. I re-guard,
and all this mobility comes from his knees being free. This is why in the gi we grab the inside of the knees, or we grab the shins.
I can't do it on him. I'm talking,
No, I get it.
I'm just saying, other people, it's what I view jiu-jitsu, and I'm just, again, new, but like, I'm always trying to burn their energy out without using my energy, because that's the long game. So if I get a heavy guy that knows way more than me, I have been doing this a lot.
Regarding
because it's almost zero energy.
Guard to regard. So your whole thing is to guard and regard. So we'll do two guard passes from close guard, and then we'll do a half guard. So let me get you in close guard. Get me in close guard.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're good. So like I said, if I can get to this position, I'm good. So what I suggested to him is, if you got it's harder if you're slender, but if you can get this frame where you're doing this, and I'm not compromising my head by going too far up. I'm not shifting my knees by bringing them in together. I'm trying to stay wide, and I like to lean to my left, but you should be able to go either way. Mm-hmm. My side ribs, or my lats, what used to be lats, watch his leg start to go a little bit. So he's not going to like that. His feet shouldn't separate, but they might separate. But what I'm doing is, now, as I'm leaning, now I'm putting the palm of my hand into his knee, and instead of pushing down with my tricep muscle, I'm leaning back over, framing, locking my elbow out, and as I lean back, I'm keeping my base wide. So from here, his instinct is to start worrying about this, and he might be worrying that I'm going to start framing. But as I'm moving here, I'm keeping this elbow in tight to my gut, or my stomach, so his left leg doesn't come in. So I'm going to bring this in here. Right here, I'm stable from bringing my weight there. to bringing my weight onto him. Now my elbow and my knee are connected. Try to get your knee back in if you can. So he can't even get onto my hip with his foot. So I'm going to shift my weight. I call this a surfer stance. I get right here. I can move either way. I like to lead with this leg. What Tanner's been having us do is just go right to here.
Okay.
So if you try to regard or whatever, I'm trying to block. He's having trouble getting my feet. All I gotta worry.
I want to show her that.
Yeah.
It's
So
super key.
my knee is just over his thighs, but I'm also stapling the bottom of his leg with my ankle. So I'm not cutting. I'm not rushing to pass. I'm kind of like peeking around a hole to shoot the bad guy. So I'm poking around here, but I got to do this. If I give this up, he starts getting to my walls, right? So I got to keep here. I'm not putting my weight on him just yet, but he's probably going to start fighting with my hands. Grab my hand, frame on my body, and I'm worried about this knee. I don't want that knee to come back up. So that's why I keep my weight on this leg. And then I just, as I pass with this knee cut, I'm trying to go for that underhook over here. Or, like I said, if you can get here, boom, and I fight it, and I can't get this one. There's some where you can post on their sternum. If you can reach, I wouldn't recommend it because somebody who's really long would do a triangle. But if you can post on their stomach to prevent them from doing a hip up or anything, I'm trying to separate their feet. If you got a good base, that might work for you. So if he tightens up his guard, fighting, he knows I'm doing this, I might have to post. Again, I'm starting to try to separate one. So he's starting to attack my arm. All I'm worried about is my elbow. Or there's other over-under passes, but for this right now, I'm just going to get my elbow back in, get my knee back in.
Okay.
So if I can get to this little surfer stance, I'm not real mobile. And all I'm doing is, without a partner, boom, boom, trying to break, get up here. If I get here, I got to get this elbow inside. But if I start leading with this knee by mistake, I staple. If I make a mistake, it's fine. But if I can remember, I'm stapling with my hand. I just bring that knee in. Right here, I feel real stable. I'm trying to keep that lateral stability. Once I'm good, they do whatever they want. Like they just set in. Then I can start working my knee cut. So we can practice. You can do the opening of the guard. So lean to one side, palm, straighten out. Yep. Yep. And as you're cutting, you can staple me. Lead with your elbow under my armpit. Now his chest is hitting my shoulders, and it's a cut right through there. Let's do it again. This is just going to be the guard pass that I learned from Tanner as soon as I got here. So keep it again. You don't have to go any faster. All right. Boom.
That's the one.
You're almost slinking through.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to try it? Let's see, you get her in close guard? For sure. It's all good. So where's your hands at? See? So just for shits and giggles, bring your knees in, try to go double clamp her knee. Her head with your hands. Not real hard, just about 30%. Yeah, just like a closed guard, and bring your knees to your chest and try to get that. Those are what your frames are going to do for you. Try to use the palm of your hands, like Spider-Man shoots his webs, instead of your fingers, so you're not compromising your wrists. The palm of your hand is going to be like the extension of your forearms. So go ahead and do that a couple of times on her. Go north, south, east, and west, try to destabilize her. So that's all the only base you need there. You don't need to go real strong. You can tell he's strong, but you're just using structure to go. So lean to one side, doesn't matter which side, and now bring your elbow up high. Yeah, exactly like that. Now lean back to your right. Nope, before you push down, close your ankles, John. I want you to lean to your right, and now lock your elbow out by leaning to your right. There you go. Now push your palm all the way down to the mat with that knee under you. Put all your weight on that knee. Now get your right elbow in. Nope, you don't even need to change your hand position. All you gotta do is bring your elbow in. Yeah, there you go. Now bring your right knee up to your elbow inside. Boom, perfect. Right there is going to be your rest zone. You don't need to rush from there. So from there, if he gives you 20% trying to get out from there, keep your elbow and knee connected. Keep your base. Don't lose your top position. That's where you're probably passing. That, and I don't want to say failing, but that's probably where your shortcoming is.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. It's definitely better than just doing this number and then pressing back what you're doing.
So your connection to his body wasn't there because you didn't have any frames. So you have no pyramid structure. You're doing this because I got to get up and I got to push the elbows down.
Yeah.
But that was giving you no base or stability.
Yeah, and all my focus was on trying to get this leg over, but then they would just
So get the
like
frame.
a progressive guard type.
So get the frame in first, then the knee up. That's what I do. I mean, there's going to be other people that do it spontaneously, instantaneously at the same time.
Okay.
We'll do it a couple more times for drill out. So this is going to help you as far as knowing what she needs.
No, it is.
Don't give her none of this shit.
Yeah.
In a roll.
Yeah.
Here, we're being good partners. Boom. While you're doing all this, try to keep your elbow inside of his thigh. At least connected. You're not digging your elbow into him. You're just staying connected so that if he pummels in, you kind of beat him. Yeah.
You know, the means what white belt good there.
So what I'm saying is, so see how you got this hand right here?
Uh-huh.
If you're going to pass, bring this hand over to this hip pocket. Now your elbow's a little bit closer. Bring it in a little bit. This one can be up here on his, because this is the side you're going to move to. If you're like me, I always lean to the left. I'm real predictable. I'm going to lean to my left, but I got to keep my wide base. Yeah, you're leaning over. I want your knee to point out a little bit more. Feel that difference?
Yeah.
Now you're stable. Even with your knees out, if I push you, you're stable. This is the only stability you need. But you got to be dynamic. As he moves, you got to be able to adjust. If your knees get compromised really close and he starts sweeping you, you're going to feel less. So work on the knee. Give her a little clench so your knees are snug. Yep. And now you're going to feel that's going to be harder to move. So as you lean, that opens up his ankles a little bit, bringing this elbow straight back instead of bowing it out. Yeah. So don't posture up. Keep leaning as you bring your arm up. So what I'm saying is lean, and as you're leaning, bring your hand up. There you go. Yep. It's going to be a fight, and you're going to strengthen. Use your elbow lock, your skeletal structure, to lean towards me again till you feel that pop. Now you're keeping your weight here, keeping your elbow at the same time. Bring your right knee up. Right knee up. Just from here, put your knee back. Put your weight on his hip, keeping your elbow in. Now just bring your right knee in. Get on the ball of your foot. I want you to get as stable as you can from that position right there. The connection's right here. Connection's on his leg. I'm going to push you. I want you to have a base right there. That's where you want to think of this. This is where you can rest. I wouldn't say rest for a long time, but this is where you're just going to pause.
Right.
Okay. And as you're knee cutting, think of the outside of your IT band. Once you get this staple here, it's going to be your gun holster coming down his hip, and your knee's actually going to point towards me, perpendicular to his navel. As you put think of your elbow going under his armpit. Yeah. It's a slinky kind of move. I'll do it to you, and you can feel it. And then you could watch. So if you can't close your guard on someone, because we got good thighs, they're really barrel chested, think of pinching your knees. Okay? So if you barely get the toes, that's probably not going to give you a good knee control. So you might not be able to get around me, but I want you to think of controlling me with your knees. So boom, boom. Trying to get on your hip here. She's got a good grip on my she's got a good grip. So you're going to feel, if I start getting my knees together, I have less posture. Here, and if you try to sit up to grab my head or my arm, this is what this hand does, right? I know I'm strong, but I'm just using this structure. I'm not really being a brute about it. So I'm going to lean. So you're going for it, and I'm still trying to defend and keep my base. You got back in. But as I saw me losing that battle, I'm still thinking to cut you. I still had a good base.
Right.
Does that make sense? I kept my base through that. You carry a lot of gear with your work, right? You have like a bag and stuff like that. So you got to keep a good base wherever you're going. Even if you go up steps, you still got your feet under you, right? You can't just bend over and compromise or use handrails when you're going up these stairs, right? She's an EMT. I don't know if I told you. So I try to use kind of that. So do it against me, and then we'll drill a couple times.
Okay.
And then John will go a couple times.
Right there.
And that's all we're working on is that pass. One more time. Try to get your hands, never put your hands on the mat. Or not, never, but not for now. I was chasing you and you prevented me from getting that knee in, right? And that's more realistic.
Yeah.
I'll hug this little fucking barrel of monkeys here. Slide. Think of slide. You here? Slide.
I'm just
Yeah,
pausing.
For sure.
Like, I want to learn to pause
you're good here.
because I know that I'm good here and I don't. And what happens is I don't do this perfectly and I get locked.
So that's what with all of us, just getting that knee up.
Right.
That's money right
And
there.
that's where I'm trying to teach myself, like, get this out, and I can play for a minute.
And this is fine.
Yeah.
But then think of punching through the elbow.
And that's where I'm going next. My next move.
Beautiful.
Like,
Beautiful. Yeah. One more time.
because I feel like I just want to. I'm doing that because I haven't felt like I had control until I'm over there.
I know.
So I'm trying to rush over
We're
there.
rushing.
And for the first time yesterday or the other day when you guys showed me, to get there is control.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to just like break that old habit.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm stopping. So lean into it.
As soon as you feel my ankles open, yeah. Beautiful. So you can see and you can feel, you can see me trying to compromise his base. And I'm trying, you can feel me moving.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going hard, I'm just,
Right.
that's the scramble you're gonna feel. Another thing with side control. So when he gets me in side control, I know all my jiu-jitsu, but he's got good control techniques. From arrest and control in the military or whatever experience he's got, I can't let him get there, right? So I gotta think of, as someone's passing, I gotta frame and shrimp and try to escape. So as he's passing my guard, right? And he's already slinking through that knee cut, he's going here. It's already almost too late when he's right here. If I just go, okay, I'm just gonna get in the guard and I'm just gonna start fighting from there, I gotta fight here.
Right.
So I gotta effectively frame and get up on one of my elbows, because if I'm just fighting from my back, I'm screwed. So I gotta frame, get up. I gotta wrestle up. I gotta prevent him from getting to side control. If you're having trouble, don't let him get to side control. Maybe start the fight a little earlier. Let me take your back. We talked about this the other day when we did seatbelt, and I said, okay, ready, we're gonna practice back control. Hand fight starts here, and he starts grabbing my hands and that. And I tell people, this is not where in a roll. Hand fighting doesn't start from seatbelt. Hand fighting starts from here. He tucks his head, he tucks his chin, he turtles his shoulders, he brings everything up. Hand fighting starts here. He doesn't let me get his underhook. The hand fighting starts here. For you, the side control is gonna start fighting from the past.
Right.
So we're gonna take it a little step further. So it's almost like the stupid thing they've always said at the beginning of my jiu-jitsu journey is like, how do I avoid getting rear naked choked? Like, don't let them choke you. But you're like, but that's what I'm trying to do. So start your defense a little earlier. So the fundamentals of side control, have I showed you that?
I don't know, but this has been great for me.
Yeah.
Like, this basic stuff is what I need.
Well, for sure. Yeah, all of us. Black belts are still doing this against other black belts, right?
Right.
Tanner's doing everything. I came here with 6 years of experience and he showed me that pass, that guard break. I'd never seen that before I would do other
You
stuff.
know the other thing too, and I don't want to go off.
No, you can't. And this is what this class is for.
So put me in full guard. I did this a couple other days, especially on Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because he's so big and lanky.
Brendan, yeah.
He'll get my neck, and I'll be like, and I have to use a lot of energy. And so what I did to him is he'll pull his hips up to pull me down.
Yep.
And I just did the sit thing.
The sit is really
It's
good.
insane. Like I could use zero energy.
I've never done that one until this day.
I didn't mean to do it. Like nobody's taught me it for this, but I broke his impossible thing that I sit there and push against by just doing this. And then of course, what did he do again? He pulled your hips, and then I just went back to this and I blocked it this time. And then every time he got it, I just sit. And I was using zero energy.
So look at his base. Look at your base. Look at your hips. Your ass is over your heels. Your spine's over your hips. You got a pyramid.
I'm super comfortable here. And then what I did is I waited till he broke this a little bit, and I did the whole. I didn't do it right that time, but that's what I waited
That's
for.
still good. No, that was way better than your first few weeks.
Yeah.
Because you led with the trail leg.
Right.
So all this comes from base and posture. So if you went, he's got a really good side control. When someone gets you in side control, if he's got my elbows and he's got control of my hips, I'm stuck. He's got double underhooks. I can't start fighting from here. Right? For me, give me a little space. I need to have this frame in here, and I need to have this frame in here where I'm flicking my wrist into his throat, so that I can either bring my feet up to close to my butt. I'm on the balls of my feet, not the heels, so I can bridge, thrust over the shoulder, or I can create space to shrimp out. So I need all these things, because if I don't get any frames in, I can bridge, but I can't turn. If I can't frame, I can't create space, and I can't shrimp. Because the moment I try to get my knee in, you're just going to smash and be a wet blanket. So a lot of times, if you're already stuck here, I almost kind of frame on their head, and I'm trying to just get my elbow in, or I'm trying to give him the back. So I might just start turning around. He lets me turn to give his back. He's going to take my back. He might do this. Tanner encourages us. Give him a way to go out and then take their back. Right? So what I want you guys to think of is, we'll start from here. We'll do this drill. Put your feet on the ground. Both feet here. Your knees up. So we're going to start from here. And you'll see me do it a couple times against John, and then John will do it a couple times against me. And then we'll both take turns switching with you. But what Tanner does from here is, we're simulating a guard pass. All that guard breaking shit, that's a whole other session, right? From here, we're simulating I got past your knees somehow. Some kind of past your knees. Ready, break, we can tap and rack, it doesn't really matter. We don't need to, you just ready, 1, 2, 3, go. I'm gonna try to pass, and I just want you to frame and shrimp, either re-guard or wrestle up to stand up. You're not trying to re-attack, you're just preventing me from getting this side, okay? So we'll go 1, 2, 3, then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and go. He re-guarded, reset, boom, all right, go again. 1, 2, 3, go. So the fight starts from there. So, and you're gonna be right there at my knee. And we'll go 1, 2, 3, go. Fast. Go. It's not aggressive, but we're trying to beat each other. 1, 2, 3, go. So, you're gonna pass. Your turn. Like,
No.
it's time, but it was timing, right? It wasn't strength on strength. It just timed it.
No, I've been trying to train myself to put my neck on that side, and that stuff is what trains me.
It's all good. So we're gonna go slow, okay? You're gonna do 3 slow ones, and you're just gonna try to get the side control.
Okay.
And you count 1, 2, 3. You go.
1, 2, 3, go.
And then establish control. On your count.
1, 2, 3, go.
Get you in there, John. Get a couple. So I want you to feel the offensive position, because now when you get on bottom position, you're gonna know how quickly we started.
Right.
Each of us is gonna be different.
Your call.
It's on your count. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, go.
Cool. Reset. That's cool. I know we can roll from there, but we're just working on the pass, and he's trying to prevent you from passing. On you.
1, 2, 3, go.
Cool. He regarded. So now you're on your back, and I'll go. And John's gonna count.
Oh, you want me to go?
You're just gonna count.
Okay.
So
1,
neither
2,
one.
3, go.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. You're good. Do it again. We'll do 2 and 2. So I'm a little bit further past. I'm cheating. Try to get your feet in. Working from the balls of your feet.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
That's good. Go for it. You're on your back still. 1, 2, 3, go. Frame and strip, keep framing. And reset. 1, 2, 3, go. Cool. Reset. No, you don't have to reset. So, what did you get out of that little drill? I'll tell you what I saw after you guys talk.
He is getting rid of me from trying to get side control. Even if I get a hernia, it's still not freedom and damage form.
You also got up on your elbow. You weren't fighting from your shoulder. You were mobile on that elbow. What did you feel you got? Did you get anything out of it, or what do you see?
No, yeah, over compensating. Like I want to get in a better habit of. Obviously, you said I have good side control. Like it comes super natural to me.
Yeah.
But like what I do, I'm sure I do several things wrong. The one thing I notice more than anything is I over present with my head.
Yeah, we'll work on that. And that's going to be just you surfing. I call it surfing. Everybody has different terms. But what I call is you're going to find that sweet spot. What he's talking about is when we bring our head over center of gravity from side control and we get swept. And I do my white belt sweep. So a lot of wrestlers, football players, military and law enforcement tend to have better side control. And it's almost too much muscle, but it's just the right amount to where like jiu-jitsu isn't going to work because I've been here for so long, I'm effectively strong in this position.
Yeah.
And it's cool, but we'll work on different things to be more efficient with our economy of motion.
And I'm working with you. What I really notice is that you have to use every little point of performance. And that helps me because sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm here.
So we can go, in general, what they say is men tend to do less technique and more strength, where smaller people and women have to rely on the technique so they become better jiu-jitsu practitioners. I learned really well from smaller black belts and females because they're usually less than 120 pounds. But learning from Tanner, I'm learning to do big guy jiu-jitsu, but most of the guys I go against are 6 foot. Like I'm 210 pounds. All my guys are 6 foot. You're what, 180 maybe?
No, 170.
170. So my weight is way more than his, but if I go strength for strength, I'm probably going to get tanked out if I do that, if I try to meet his strength. So I got to use technique, even though I'm a higher belt, but I'm also older. Then there's just different. It's some of these things that people get all caught up. Well, I should be beating every white belt. No. That's a good way for me to get upset. You know, like with myself, I just got to get better. If you guys get better and you start doing things that I'm teaching you, I'm like, good. A couple of you guys did arm drags on me. I taught arm drags the last few weeks, and they've been doing arm drags too. You're like, great. But I'm also giving it to them. But once they get it, you know, there's a fight. So anyways, my point is this. Points of performance were we started to fight a little early. We didn't settle into like, oh, they're going to pass. Let me start getting ready to start fighting for side control. Don't get pinned. Don't get pinned in that kill spot, right? Your knee shielding sooner, and you were framing and shrimping. That's what I saw. And the biggest thing is if you come into side control and I start fighting you, John, from this, you just push the shoulder with your body or whatever. I'm not just going to prevent you from pinning my shoulder to the mat. Go ahead and push my shoulder to the mat. Keep doing it.
See that the reason
I'm strong. I'm strong as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Now, do it again. A little bit harder, right? He had to collapse that elbow. So if I can fight from this elbow,
Gives you more space.
it's allowing me mobility too. But what Tanner showed us when I always break this down. I don't think I'm going to get you on your side like that. So when he's fighting from his shoulder, just from his deltoid, the rear of his delt, and all I'm going to do is just push the top. He kind of rocks over. Now get up on that elbow. Just right there. You're not even incorporating this. This is just your base right here and that elbow.
Yeah. Way more. And I could even slink it back.
Yeah.
I feel that.
And if you start winning that battle, post up to your hand and stand up.
Yeah. Another thing you can do is like, and that's why I wasn't pushing hard on you. Is push on me, and you obviously did this to me. Like you go and toss them, or whatever you did,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I can see where you could feel it, where you could stand up, where you could feel it, where you're like, I'm gonna let him win. And now I'm on top.
Yeah. So these are good, just fundamentals that we could probably do for the whole month and get better at. So
how do you push on that shoulder without over? Will you go back to that position?
Yeah. So I'll show you.
I got you.
So
like push without over exaggerating my head. That's my problem.
This is what I'm working on, because with Tanner, I get to this position and I'm real good at getting here. And he'll even let me get here. And I'm trying not to commit over there. So what he's been advising me to do is my knees are pointing this way. He's like, yeah. So now my hips are pointing this way. I'm still framing on the hips, but I'm using my head or I'm using my position so I don't get swept. And what Tanner's doing is when my knees are this way, he locks his knees and then he sweeps me to my right. And I start falling this way. In the gi, he grabs everything. So I've been trying to do this because I thought he was teaching me this. He goes, that's not really what I taught you. This is what I do.
Yeah, and he's saying point it so you can't get rolled.
He's saying really.
Yeah.
Now my head's really on this side.
Now I got nothing. I can't roll you now. I could before.
It makes a lot of sense after we did it for the last 6 months. Right, so now instead of being up on my feet like I advise you guys to do, I'm stapling this down and I'm here. So if I start fighting you, that's cool. Or I can just work that path.
Yeah. See, that's perfect.
Punching my elbow through. My knees are already coming through.
Shoulder into my shoulder.
Yeah.
Is what rolls.
I just didn't want to progress to that, but that's really the natural progression. We're still working on guard breaking. You're not getting caught in closed guard too much. Long people might get you, but if you just work on this one.
The last thing you taught me works on that.
So we'll work on that one, but there's a log splitter. There's other things. So what time do you have to go? Are you working?
At 10.
Okay. So what we can do is start with some live rolls from guard breaking. The bottom person's going to have the first 30 seconds of trying to sweep or submit. So a couple of sweeps or submissions. If you don't know if anything, you're just trying to break them down. Keep them here. Then after that, then the person starts working on guard breaking and passing, and we're trying to prevent them from passing and breaking. That's it. So, bottom person is going to try to sweep or submit. You're just keeping your base. After 30 seconds, plus or minus some seconds, you're going to try to break the guard to pass the guard. That's all the drill is. So you're trying to think of sweep and submit, whatever it is that you have. We haven't gone over any. Right.
Okay.
All right. Slap bumping you guys going now. Okay, now go ahead and try to start passing, John. Frame and shrimp, get up to your elbow, elbow on my shrimp, frame and shrimp. Cool. Switch top to bottom. So we shouldn't be getting injured this. You could be getting tired or getting out of breath, but we're moving in a safe position, right?
I think I'm going to try and hit 6 tonight.
Yeah.
Move some things around.
I can never remember what the classes are, but yeah.
Is it Tanner that does 6?
Typically, sometimes Lee.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to pass now. He's not worried about sweeping. Now you're just going to prevent her from breaking your guard, passing your guard. If your ankles separate, just knee pinch on her body if that happens. The elbow is going to give you less framing, but that's fine. Cool. Reset. Good job. All right.
No, the armadillo.
1, 2, 3, down. Good job. I'll go with you. You can rest. I'll go with you. Oh wait, is that? Oh, we switched to the bottom. My bad. So you're trying to sweep or submit, right? Okay. There you go. Try to pass, all right? Okay. Leg always gets me. Reset. Oh wait, we're good now.
Yes, you're good. Thank you.
So that was a good battle. All right. Ready? Go.
That sweep's not gonna work. Okay. I don't know.
Okay. And I'm gonna pass.
I got lost there.
You're good. You're good. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna try to pass. Good job.
I'm gonna do breakfast with the family.
All right, brother.
Thanks for everything.
For sure.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
See ya.
I'll hit you up if maybe we roll it earlier or something. The only reason why I paused it is I think it might be striking. But when's striking? Is it Monday, Wednesday?
It's Monday, Wednesday. Yeah.
I think tonight's striking.
So there's women's class at 5:30, and then there's striking is at 7. This Thursday?
Oh, Tuesday, Thursday, then it is jiu-jitsu.
Okay, so yeah.
You know, it's like there's no power hour. It's Thursday.
Yeah, never mind then. Yeah, it'll be at 6.
Okay, so it's jiu-jitsu then.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah. It's good.
We can work on any other stuff, or we can continue working on this, or we can work on side control, escapes.
Working on this, I feel like I'm still a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I get the concept, but the muscle memory's not.
So this morning class is supposed to be more like, hey, let's fix everybody's game. But this is stuff that I'm also still working on, so we can go over this for the next month and still improve.
Okay.
So what you've gotten out of this so far is techniques to break the guard, techniques to frame from side control.
Right.
But what I'm trying to encourage people to do is what I'm trying to do better is start my defense sooner. Okay? So in order to know the defense, I need to know the offense. So what you've been doing in offense has been working for you, like, you know, pinning. But I want you to try to minimize how much you put your hands on the mats. Even though I outweigh you, just by you putting your hand on my body, on a joint, a hip, shoulder, it makes me immobile. But once you post a hand on the mat, I can either attack it or use that to keep you from moving.
Right.
So John's real good at keeping his body on us, on his partners. And the first thing I saw when you were in guard, close guard, and this is not a criticism, this is more of like, hey, at least we don't see ourselves, was you went to this postured up, like I'm gonna push their knees away with my elbows. And you defaulted to pushing, this is your natural.
Right.
So you think of it, your reach is going to be longer if you do extend that hand out. Whereas here, you're still doing that and you're powerful there, but you're just as powerful with that extended limb.
Right.
Just catch yourself. Like if we're fighting from close guard, and if I can put my hand out here to post, cool. I'm preventing you from sweeping, but now I'm going to compensate by having this hand on you. I'm going to replace my hand post with my knee post, and now my hand's going to go on you.
Right.
Think of it that way. See you, John. Thank you. All right, so let's go from close guard. We'll work on that.
Okay.
And I'll just have my open guard, and you're just going to think of trying to get your hands to the mat. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a good thing.
It's all good. I put my knee in your side so you can feel it.
Okay.
Right? It's all good. So I'm not going to close my ankles. We'll just start from open guard. Ready? Go. Beautiful. What did you do? What did you do to pass my guard on that one? Can you break it down?
I flattened this knee, kept my elbow to this knee, and on my keys, and then once I stapled it down, then I got this one across.
And you went for that underhook, and you slightly perfectly. You
And
opened
even
it
when
up.
you like posted up,
Yeah.
they gave me more.
Yeah. That underhook brought my shoulder back to the mat. So if you just think of those subtle movements with everybody, they'll be more and less effective with each person. But that's all we're really trying to do. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go.
You know, one of the first things I also think of is, and correct me if I'm like making a whatever, but I always try to keep this like really close to your body once you bring it down, so this doesn't come between. At least
We always end up doing that at the beginning, but once you get that leg staple and you're about to, you get that knee over my inner thigh, right here, I want you to just think of underhook, and then from here, this where your gun holster would be, that's going to go over my hip. So what we normally do when we first start jiu-jitsu is we bring this up towards the head. But what I want you to think of is now point your knee towards that corner of that room. Nope, you're not even going to change your body. All you're going to do is switch your knee, open that knee to the left, and then point this knee to the left, and now slide your knee with your butt sliding onto my hip.
like that.
That's all it is. It's a baseball slide.
Okay.
So it's almost like it's on the IT band coming up over your hip.
Okay.
It's going to help you pass my guard, whereas if you start going north, I'm going to use that momentum to sweep you over to your right.
Okay.
So as you come up here and you put your leg back up there, and you've got a good position with an underhook, and you got the inside with your elbow, you can't regard, right?
Right.
And if you keep your elbow going towards my armpit to prevent this, go ahead and slide your knee.
Oh, okay.
But if you slide that way, all your weight's on your butt and your thigh, and I can't move it. From here, if I start sweeping like I did John, go back to side control. Post all your weight on your left foot and bring your right knee under you back to side control. That's how you prevent me from sitting up.
Okay.
Because if you get caught in that judo side control and I start posting up, you go to side control, I can no longer sit you up because now you've effectively, let me get you on your back. I'll have to teach John this, but if you straight arm into my armpit while my chest, and I'm here on judo side control, I've got no base behind me. I'm on my right butt cheek, right?
Right.
So the only way I can counter you coming up stronger than me is to bring this knee right here. And this knee just follows to connect. But if I don't, what I do is I'll put my hand in the armpit and I kick my feet up in the air and I do like a sit-up So lift your feet up in the air and kick.
I see. Oh yeah, you did that to John earlier.
That's what I try to do. And it's a timing thing. It's not strength. So let me just get you. If you get them coming in and they're doing that knee cut, and they're like, "Oh, I'm doing so good," and you time it just right, you're gonna go on top, right?
Okay.
So the timing for that is like, yeah, I'm knee cutting. Oh shit, they're sitting up. I got to go back to side control. It's all like preemptive. So as I come in here, he's gonna do that again. Right? I'm coming in on my cut, and you start to do that. It's missed the timing, right? But I didn't want to go further into it because we already covered guard break and now trying to work preventing the side control. Okay. So again, with the side control prevention, the biggest thing I'm seeing with you is just start defending early.
Okay.
Think from, it's hard to think of it because we don't have a path when we start jiu-jitsu. In close guard, I need to break the ankle, separate the ankles, break the guard to pass the guard. That's all I'm really thinking. How I do it is so many different things, right? Especially against women, you have more problems with women practitioners because they're flexible. They're also athletic and strong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're stronger than a man or not. If they're strong and limber, that's a bigger problem than I have with John being strong and rigid. Whereas I might be able to move to positions where he's not comfortable yet. Mm-hmm. But when I go against you, I don't have to go harder. I have to go more technical. I have to pin your hip. I have to pin your elbow. I don't think you ever feel that I'm putting a lot of weight on you. Like I'm not trying to. Yeah. But with you, when you go with women, you can use your weight, but let's use that weight effectively, right? It's not, I mean, what's her name? Marissa. Marissa is athletic and she's strong and you've gone with her. Sometimes she goes a little too hard and I'm like, hey, slow down, you're good. But I don't tell her to slow down. I'm thinking she doesn't need to go as fast. But then she's just so dominant. Then she uses a little bit more strength than she needs to. And I'm thinking, okay, let's use economy of, but she's good. I mean, she's been training for 10 years. You know, she's like, been training since she was a kid. So she's not really a blue belt, even though she just got her blue belt. She's more of like a purple brown belt kind of thing, but just hasn't had that much time on the mat. So she's not using too much strength where she's being retarded, like retarded strong. Brady's a good example. He's athletic. He has another martial art background, but we're trying to gauge back his strength and increase his technique in jiu-jitsu. Right. Where you're strong and you're athletic, but we're trying to increase your technique to match your athleticism. Right. And you're being nice and considerate. I know you're like trying to be a meathead. Like same with John, he's trying not to be a meathead. Yeah. He can't help it. He's just strong. Yeah. You know, even when he's going like 10% with you, it feels like, holy shit, this guy's strong. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So it's not a big deal. So you're gonna learn from both of them. So I just want you to think of framing and shrimping. When you're worried about someone passing your guard, like, oh shit, they're passing. I need to frame and shrimp, or I need to wrestle up. Right. That's kind of what you're probably not doing. You're just kind of going, okay, well, they're going to pass. I'm going to start working from side control. I don't know if you are.
I think I am waiting too long. I'm like waiting so they're like, their knees are here, and then I'm like, now what? Part of it is like all the escapes that I know so far, the ones that come in like this, and I'm just like, now what do I do? Like I'll get this far and be like, now what? Because they've got me so tight, and I'll kind of like start to get out, but then they just suck me right back in, and so I'm just kind of getting stuck there.
So those movements in different positions for the escapes, they're all contingent on framing. I may have said it before, but it doesn't make sense a lot of times. In an offensive position, in every position, I'm trying to take away your space, and defensively, we're trying to create space. Right? So as I'm controlling you in side control, I'm trying to occupy as much space. So if you move, I slink with you. I'm just a wet blanket. But you need to create space with your frames and your bridging. So if you do that, the knee and elbow connection, it should have been like after a frame where you're able to create space from your hips to their hips. Right. But if they're stuck to you, you got to get those frames. And if you can't get your frames, you got to get your knee shields in. If you can't get the knee shields in, you're going to have to try to regard. Like it's all those things are going to just cyclical. Right. You know,
I've been just basically letting them go into mount because I can work from mount. Yeah. Easier.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was like, well, I don't really know what to do here, so I'm just going to let them pick the next thing. And mount sucks, but at least I know I can't escape it.
Yeah. So. We feel safe on our back, and I do too. That I do the same thing. Like, okay, I'm really good at escaping mount. But what do I do if they don't go to mount? Right. I get stuck in side control. Right. I've been stuck with John for a round. And he's like, oh, thanks for letting me work. I'm like, it wasn't really letting me work, right? But that's fine. That means I've got to work on mine, right? I got to work on whatever it is. So now, like I did the last time, I tried really not to let him get to side control. But I'm not going harder. I just got to be quicker. He's really quick. So I'm trying to pinch his leg. Like he doesn't know what to do when I pinch his leg between my legs, right? So a lot of times with you, if you can think of framing, like I said, or sometimes bringing them into you. I don't know if that's going to be something you're going to want to do, like bring them in and trap their post. So if you're starting to pass side control and your right hand starts coming, and even though you've got the underhook on me, I'm going to try to keep this pinched.
Kind of like the wizard.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like not let you post there, but then you're going to compensate. And so then I'm going to shrimp and then bring my knee in.
Right. Okay.
You know, so I might trap. So when I used to tell my boy at first, every time I got a frame, but I'm also gripping. So using my grips and my frame. So if you try to grab my head, I want to prevent you with my forearm to get you. If you try to pull out, I'm going to get you. So I kind of grip and frame at the same time.
Okay.
So if you think of that concept, so as you're coming in, you're kind of trying to get my head. No, I don't want you. I want you to come in. I'm trying to fight. You pull me into underhook. You beat me at the underhook with this one. And I go, okay, I'm going to try to sweep it this way. And then you go side control. And that's just the fight there. It's that little teeter-totter between who's going to get in a better position. And it's not a fast mad scramble. You're just trying to control my hips, get my cross underhook.
Right.
And what he was talking about, John has a tendency to bring his head over, but he sprawls really well. But with you, if you get your head a little bit over the center, I'm going to try to trap you and roll, but you're doing really good is posting your hand out.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But if I do trap your arms, post on your forehead. It's a soft mat, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what Brendan does.
Yeah.
So if you do get me in side control, and you start to sweep me to your left, right? And you trap my arms. You trap this elbow here, and I can't. And I'm here. Then you start rolling to your left.
Like,
It seems
now
stupid.
what?
My feet too. My feet are posted out.
Right. I guess the next best thing at that point for me would be to do that. No.
If I do that, shrimp, regard. Yeah. So it's a lot of give and take, but just going through these positions knowing that, am I smashing you? If I just smash you, kind of a dick move.
Yeah.
But some people are really good. That's a good move, right? It's a good sprawling, like wrestles would do that. It's like a hip thrust, like I'm pinning your hips with my hips, and I'm just kind of starfishing. So that's the case. I try to push their head down towards my hips. So if I'm like up here, I immediately just put a little C-clamp on their neck, on their armpit, and I just push them down. So if you try to do a little starfish on me, right, you're just kind of being a bully, and you're right there. So that I'm trying to push and push and then shrimp.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Right.
So let me get you. So you lay on your back. So all you're really going to think of doing is pushing my head over around here to your hip. Hip. Once my hip's there, give yourself enough space if you can to try to get up to this hip. So if I'm just being a boy here. Now, in a perfect world, that's what you can do.
Right.
Right? So now I'm going to put a little more weight. I'm going to try to control you. Push, shrimp, push.
I was trying to shrimp, but then you started rolling, and I was like, I can bridge. That's cool.
But that's what I mean. It's gonna be contingent on what you get. Like I'm trying to be heavy, but I'm not trying to pin you. I want you to get the movements down.
All right.
You might not be pushing people's heads down. That comes in progression, but you might not have seen that before.
Right. No.
You know? Let's put it this way. If I bring my head back, then you can push my hip. And if you push my hip, you almost teeter. So if you get one hand on put your left hand on my neck, the other one on my hip, you can seesaw that. Get me down like you're taking off a skirt or a tight pair of pants or a belt. So we'll try that. So I'm going to be here. So one hand on my neck, one hand on my hip. Go. You're almost shimmying north.
Yeah.
You're almost shoulder walking out from under me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're pushing me as much as you're shimmying out from under me. Either one, it's working.
I don't know that I have the strength. Most people that I roll with, unless they're like weighing or small men, I don't have the strength to just push them down. But I can brace so they can't come up, and then I shimmy out.
Think of it that way then. If that's it, like I said, it may not be you pushing me down as much as you're shimmying up, whatever.
Yeah.
you're moving me down your body.
Right.
So I try to do that to Tanner. I gauge a lot of my things against Brendan, even though he's a blue belt. Like I have trouble with certain things because he sprawls and he's a wrestler and he does this. So there's a lot of things I'll do that. I'll push on his head. Merlin, he's a boulder,
Yeah.
right? He's just. So I try to take his knees out. I try to choke him. I try to do a Kimura so I can get my hips out. And he just traps my hips, and that's his game. He traps my hips.
Yeah.
So if someone ends up trapping your hips or hugging your knees, push on the side of the head. Push on the. Well, you women tend to not do this to each other because it's kind of a dick move. But if you do it to a guy, you can palm someone on the side of the ear and just push. But here's a good, safe place to push them. Women get, pardon the French, they get bitchy if you touch their face. I'm not saying I'm going to touch it, but if you touch a woman's face,
Yeah.
even though you're a woman, they'd be like, I can't believe that bitch tried to eye gouge me. And you weren't,
Yeah.
So being a conscientious practitioner is like pushing on the neck, pushing in the armpit. I'll even do a fist in the armpit. I'm not punching, but I'm using that as a frame. So if you put your left fist into my armpit as I start to reach over, so just make a fist, and then it's going to go right in here in my armpit. It prevents me from going this way. So I'm going to go down, right? And if for some reason I go here,
I still feel like because your center is like so far over, I can just roll you. If you're
I'm intentionally rolling over, but I want
Right.
you to feel that. Sorry about your foot. But I want you to see those two. The only reason I'm not asking you to do that is because you might hurt your digit. I'm doing this to people, and I'm actually using the L part of my hand.
right.
But until you get it, you can do it with a fist just as equally. Or you can grab the gi, and you grab that gi material. I can't reach over to pummel, and now I'm stuck, and my elbow's stuck up high.
People do that to me.
So I'm going here, and I go to come over.
Right.
So I didn't commit to getting swept that way. I tried to stay on your hips, but you were able to shimmy out.
Right.
It's something,
Yeah.
so if I do it to you, you'll feel, it's weird. It's a weird feeling. Come here.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? So nobody's taught me that, but it is a move.
Yeah.
So we'll go to that to shimmy the head. Oh, again, so if you're trying to just pin me, whatever, and I just start pushing your head and your hip, it's still framing.
Right. Okay. I've had people do something similar, and my counter so far has been to try to pin this arm down, which has been 50-50 effective. Because sometimes they're still able, because then they get this one. And
So what do you do with this hand if you pin this one? Just curious.
I'm trying to do this number and
Judo side control.
kind of do that,
Okay.
so that my knee is under your shoulder.
So grab this tricep, and that way I can't bring this out. And once you get that, you can now you can put your hand either there, or you can put your hand under my armpit. Now that your hand's on the mat, your chest and your shoulder is actually pinning this shoulder. So you don't even have to control this elbow, because I can't do anything with this.
Right.
So this right here, this connection is preventing me from coming up. But you holding that tricep or that elbow on your left side, it prevents me from doing this, because I got to go this way or that way.
Right.
So more of your control is going to come from controlling this elbow than this one.
Right. Yeah.
And if you do get an underhook here, Tanner's been really good at keeping his head way over there so that we're not getting swept at all. So once you get this underhook, and if you want to let go of this elbow, all you're going to do is shift your weight over to your left, post your hand on the mat, way up here.
Interesting.
And go to knee on belly.
Yeah.
It's a weird position because it really works. And you're like, oh, it's counterintuitive. I want to stay on this side,
Right.
but you're actually just staying on that side.
Yeah.
So even from that position, if I get you on your back, I'm going to underhook your arm. I'm going to keep my head over your center. Here, I feel good and comfortable here. It is. It really is. But I'm not. And it's counterintuitive because I'm not putting any weight on you. I'm just walking my hips under your hip, trying to get my thigh under your butt cheek.
Yeah.
So it's something to play with.
Yeah.
And we can play with it more. I think it's real good because I don't do this drilling as much as I should. So there anything else you may have been working on? Submissions, or have you been get caught in anything?
Those have been the big ones. I mean, I need to work on everything, but I'm still trying to get better at, like, I feel like mount escape is so basic, and yet I have to, like, practice it constantly.
Yeah.
So, because, like, I know logically the steps. You look over your shoulder, you can up and out, and then if they don't bump over, then you can shrimp out.
Regard, yeah, good, sure.
And then either guard or you can butterfly, whatever. Yeah.
There's a
that's-
concept I've been thinking about for mount escape. They always say elbow hip escape is the best mount escape. So bringing your feet up to your butt, choosing a side, keeping your elbows in tight, bringing one elbow and wrist across their hips from pocket to pocket or along their belt line, reinforcing the hand. I've seen people do this. I don't like this as much as reinforcing this. I keep my elbow in front of their thigh if I can. And then now I'm gonna drop my left leg to go to my left shoulder. Boom. So now on my side, so if they are gonna try to smash me, I can breathe because my lungs can open up, but their hips are blocked. They can't get my armpits, they can't do an arm bar. The only thing I'm open for is a choke if they're long enough.
Right.
But I'm keeping this so that they can't. I gotta control their hips. If I'm here, then I can try to, posting on the ball of my foot, I'm really on the ball of my foot, or the ball of my foot. I'm trying to shrimp, not my butt up as much as my butt out.
Right.
So I'm trying to do this. Because when they do that, they have to put all their weight on this knee and this knee comes up.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you get up here, you mount me. I was thinking of developing something that's like, this is gonna be our starting. We're gonna do a butterfly grip and we're gonna start from here. And then you're gonna try to do whatever you want and I just gotta get to my side. And that's my drill.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can start going for that. But if I'm here, I feel like I'm a lot safer.
Right. Right. You are, and then the only. I mean, I obviously just went for this arm because that's what's right there.
For sure. But that's why I'm trying to reinforce this across your hips. So
Right.
now, reinforce it from the shrimp. If I can get it, I try the foot if I can. Stretch. Beautiful. Yeah. So if I can frame and shrimp, and I can't do my hip escape, I can't get you to post out, then I'm gonna try to trap, get the half guard, try to re-guard.
Okay.
So, but I haven't really developed it. I've been thinking, I'm like, if I can get people to do this, all I'm really trying to do is keep my elbows in. But people have the tendency to put their hands up and start hand fighting,
Yeah.
but then my elbows get compromised. And what I do is I'll let you hand fight, and I slink my thighs under your elbows, and I get my knees in your armpits.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, I call it, these are over your chest, and now you're fucked.
That is one of my favorite moments when I get somebody like that. I'm like, ha ha ha.
Gotcha, right? I gotcha. So the way I try to avoid it is this, and what Scott's been doing to me in the gi, he's just been choking me because he knows I'm going to frame on his hips, and he's taller than me, so he reaches for my neck, and that's why I don't like the gi.
Yeah.
And it's not it's something I need to work on. Like I haven't adjusted for that yet, so it's okay, I'll eat the choke. I'm just fighting from there.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'll mount on you some other time if you want to, and
Okay.
then call it a day. But whenever you're stuck in mount, think of keeping your elbows in tight.
Okay.
Another time, if they are being real difficult, getting both hands underneath their butt like a reverse bucket pass and going south, going out from under them.
I've done that with one arm before. You kind of like.
You can do it with
You
one
can't
arm.
sit there because they triangle, but.
Right. So that's why if you get one, try to get that other elbow and then really go for it once you get. I've even thrown them over, but that's like another power move. It's like, I don't try to teach power moves.
Right.
But if you can throw someone over your face, do that. You can do that. So yeah, if you can get one, cool. If you can get the other one, even better.
Okay.
Use it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Merry Christmas. See you in class tonight if I come.
I'm working.
Oh, all right. You said you're working at 10.
Yeah.
Cool. All righty.
I'll be in 3 or 4 days though.
Cool.